Hey, y'all.
Hey, Tasha.
Hey, Tammy.
How long has it been, girl?
Oh, my God. Like 4 months.
At least.
I don't even think I had opened a new store yet last
How
time
long
I was
has
here.
the new store been open?
We opened in July, beginning of July.
No.
And then remember, I traveled the whole month of June.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
It's been a while.
It feels like a year, honestly.
Yeah. I feel like I've aged a year since July. They were teasing me. All the kids that work for me were teasing me about my gray hair yesterday. And I looked at them, I was like, well, this one's name is Mercedes and this one's name is Aubrey. This is all you people.
Well, are they going to be listening to this?
I'm pretty sure some of them will. Some of them are too young.
You want to give them a shout out?
Hey, guys. I love my Crumble crew. Y'all are awesome.
And she just opened a new store in
Hammond, Louisiana.
So those listeners from that area, go check out Crumble.
We've had some celebrity visitors. We've had a couple Saints players.
Nice.
Jamie Lynn Spears came in the other day and got cookies. Yeah, we are like the cookie provider to the stars.
Oh, y'all got to go check it out. All right. Anything new other than you've been swamped with work?
Between being swamped with work and roller derby with the Crescent City Crushers, I bowed out of the board, but we're still very, very much involved. It was one too many things on my plate.
You were on the board of the Crescent City Crushers?
I was on the board of the Crescent City Crushers for a very short amount of time.
Well, I remember at one point y'all were looking for sponsors. So if that comes up
still
again,
looking for sponsors.
Grits with a Side of Murder might want to do that.
Awesome. Yeah. And anyone else that's interested in sponsoring, we're a youth organization, 501c3. What it is roller derby has been around for centuries.
Yep.
Junior roller derby is just taking a foothold in the United States. So you've got local teams like us that start kids as young as 8 years old. And it's great because we build their confidence. We teach them teamwork and sportsmanship, but also communication. They actually have written tests they have to take to level up. There's a lot of skill and a lot of talent that goes into this. And I watched Kale, he broke his wrist, still went to practice, couldn't be on skates, but he ran alongside the track and practiced every skill because he wanted to be part of his team.
That's awesome.
And that's what this team builds. That's the type of commitment that these kids have. And financially, it costs a lot of money to do a sport like this.
Well, I definitely want you to talk to me about it.
Absolutely.
And I think that would be a great thing for Grits to be a part of.
Absolutely. I can get you a copy of the sponsorship paperwork, and anyone else out there that has a company, or even if you can only sponsor a skater, which is $50 a month, or sponsor $5 a month towards practice space costs. Yeah. Because as a parent, like for me, it's a little easier financially. God has blessed us, but there's other families I've talked to that really want to do this and just can't afford the equipment or the dues.
All right, cool. So
you're going to tell me about some crime today?
I am. And this is coming out right after Christmas. So I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas.
I hope y'all had a Merry Christmas.
And New Year's. Have a Happy New Year.
I'm currently on the hunt for some mistletoe.
Are you?
Yes. So one of the fun things I do at my team is we use an app called Slack for communication. And we do Slack challenges. So starting last Wednesday and ending at midnight tonight, they have a scavenger hunt.
I was going to say, is that like a scavenger hunt?
It's a selfie scavenger hunt. I had 2 or 3 people come up and just randomly take selfies with me the other day because I was wearing Mr. Bengal earrings and Mr. Bengal was one of their items.
Oh, there you go.
So, but yeah, my last one I have to find is mistletoe.
That's cool. I don't think we have any around here, but you never know.
We'll find some. Gotta find it by midnight tonight.
All right. So we're going to 2012 for this story. Okay. Not, 11 years?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we were living in Franklinton at the time.
So according to AAA, the average price for a gallon of gas was $3.60. So now we're much lower than that, I think.
Yeah, I only paid $2.25 a gallon.
So we're doing better in that regard. The average price of a new car was around $30,000. I think that's way higher.
It's way higher
today. Plus, you have to wait 6 to 8 months for it.
If you even get it after 6 months, says the person still waiting for their Jeep they ordered in May.
So the other thing I looked up was the cost of a Big Mac in 2012, just for the burger, $4.33. Today it's $5.65.
I was gonna say, ain't that now?
But I also feel like you probably get a smaller
Oh yeah.
portion of lettuce and patty and everything else. So they're probably making even more than just that little bit of inflation added on there. Okay, we're going to go to Orange County, California. A little town in Orange County called Yorba Linda is where the story is going to take place. And I don't know if anybody is familiar with Orange County, but that's where Disneyland is.
Okay.
And it's also a safe place to live. It's like one of the safest places in California to live. And people know each other in this little area. They look out for each other. And also, Orange County is unfortunately ideal weather for homeless people. It's more conducive to being able to live outside than, say, Chicago or New York. So we're going to have that aspect of the story come into play as well.
More of a moderate temper weather.
Yeah. Nice in the daytime, in the evenings, not freezing cold, The winters are mild. So, all right, we're going to go to 1995. A family came from Mexico who wanted to achieve the American dream. It was a mom. Her name was Raquel, and she had two sons, Carlos and Eder Herrera.
Eder?
Eder.
Okay.
Like Edgar, but without the G, I guess. Eder. That's how it's pronounced.
Edgar. I don't know.
So I also saw Carlos's name in some of my research as Juan, but the majority of the time I saw it as Carlos, so I'm just going to call him Carlos.
Well, he may have been Carlos Juan.
Or Juan Carlos or
Juan
something.
Carlos.
Yeah. So when they moved to America, Carlos was 17 and Eder was 7. And of course, mom was
It's a pretty bit. That's a 10-year gap.
Yep.
You got one that's a grown man and one that still needs to be tucked in at night.
And the one that's a grown man actually started a family business the very next year after they moved there, cleaning and landscaping type business.
Okay.
So they were trying to, do their American dream. So Eder said that moving from Mexico to America was difficult, but once he made friends, when he got to high school, things were a lot better for him.
Well, I mean, you think about it, any kid, middle school, elementary
Hard
school,
moving.
little school, you're one fish in a little sea, and then you get to high school. Both my boys struggled with making friends, and I kept telling them, just wait for high school.
Yeah.
There's so many more people.
Yep.
And now as freshmen, they're both thriving socially because they found their people. Now, some of their people are a little weird, but they found their people.
Well, that's good, though. Well, Eder, he found his person in a guy named Itzcoatl Ocampo. And they were best friends. They were inseparable. They hung out. They did everything together. Now, all during high school, all Izzy wanted to do was join the Marine Corps, which he did when he got right out of high school. Dalton's camera switching for us today. Marine Corps back there. Hoorah, is that it?
Semper Fi.
Okay, so Izzy went into the Marine Corps right out of high school, and when he joined, he was deployed to Iraq.
Yeah, about the time frame there.
Yeah. Okay, now we're going to fast forward to January 2008. While Izzy was in Iraq, his dad lost his job.
Oof.
Back in Yorba Linda, and his dad became homeless. And when Izzy came home from the military, since his dad was homeless, he didn't have a place to live.
Yeah.
So Izzy, he was pretty much on the verge of being homeless himself, which I don't understand because I feel like there should be some type of assistance for veterans, but I don't know.
I mean, there's assistance out there, but you have to seek it out. You have
True.
to.
They're not gonna
come and check and go, hey, so you just PCS'd out of the military. Do you have somewhere to live? This isn't like when you get out of jail and they got to verify your living situation.
Right. When you get out of jail. I'm sure it feels like jail to some people. Military does.
Yeah.
Well, Eder, along with his mom and Carlos, invited Izzy to live with them, and because he didn't want his best friend living on the streets. So not only did the Herrera family take Izzy into the home, but they also got him a job in the family business. He started doing the cleaning and landscaping stuff too. So it's kind of a win-win, I think.
Yeah.
All right. So that's clicking along. Now we're going to jump to October 2011. We're still in Yorba Linda. 911 gets a call from a payphone saying there's weird noises coming from Trick Circle. Trick Circle is just the name of the road.
Okay. I was kind of wondering.
Trick Circle is not what you think it is.
I mean, is that part of the red light district?
Right.
Is that the roundabout in the middle of the red light
And honestly, it is a little cul-de-sac. It is a little cul-de-sac road with like 8 houses on it. So,
Yeah.
But somebody called from a payphone saying there's weird noises coming from one of the houses on Trick Circle. So the police go.
And weird noises, that could be anything.
I mean, yeah, I don't have any more information on the definition of that, but they go to the house, they see blood stains on the front stoop of the house.
That's not a good sign.
No. They go, like it's a lot of blood. They go around to the back of the house and they look in the window and they see a deceased female on the floor inside the house. Okay, so at this point, they kind of switch gears and go, is the suspect still here? Is he in the house? He or she? You know, are they in the vicinity? So they're looking for a suspect who could still be around. So they're a little frantic. They're going through the house, clearing the house, and they find another body, an adult male. And everything's kind of chaotic. There's blood everywhere. And the 2 victims are Raquel and Carlos.
Oh, shit.
The mom and the older brother.
Yeah. So the younger brother's unaccounted for.
Exactly.
And the house guest.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So the cops are like, is this a drug house? Is this gang related? We don't really know. I mean, why are these 2 random people, deceased? So they go door to door in the neighborhood, and one of the neighbors heard someone saying, help, help. Yeah.
Yeah,
When you call to go back, we never know who called from the payphone.
Oh, it's just it could have been the killer themselves.
It could have been. We don't know. So that neighbor said when he heard help, help, he looked out the window and he saw a person dragging what looked like a couch into the house. Well, now we know later that it's a body he was dragging.
But how do you mistake a couch for a body?
I don't know.
Like,
the neighbor said, I think it was Eater who was bringing the couch. He's calling it a couch because that's what he thought it was, into the house.
Unless that's one of those cases of, it's like when people say, well, we found the body, but we thought it was a blow-up doll at first. Your brain,
a mannequin.
A mannequin. How many times have we heard they thought it was a mannequin?
Mannequin. It's
but
never
it wasn't.
a mannequin.
It's not a mannequin. It's not a blow-up doll. It's a body.
So, yeah. So I guess this neighbor, when he sees this, is thinking in his mind, oh, he just wants help pulling in some furniture into the house or whatever. It's nothing urgent, I would assume. But, of course, the police want to find Eater and talk to him and see what the heck's going on.
Well, I mean, his mom and brother are dead. They need to make a death notification also.
Right. Well, they found his car at a friend's house.
Okay.
So they put surveillance. Why they didn't go knock on the door and ask him? I don't know. But they're thinking he's the killer. So maybe they think he's dangerous.
And maybe they're thinking, well, if he is the killer and there's more people in there, that it would possibly set him off.
That's a good point. Well, they put surveillance on the car and the house. And in the middle of the night, Eater comes out of the house. He goes to the car. He gets a bag. He goes back into the house. So the police kind of like creep up on the car and they're looking around inside the car. And they see like a quarter-sized drop of blood on the seat. And so they're further thinking he's the one who did this. Okay.
Or at least has knowledge.
Something.
So
they're still watching the house at 5:30 a.m. Eater gets in his car and he drives away. Well, this is when they decide, okay, now we're going to stop him. They had, they pulled him over, guns blazing, get out of the vehicle, exit with your hands up, all that whole...
Walk slowly to the rear of the vehicle. Do not put your hands down.
Right. So all this time, they get him in the car. They're taking him to the station. They don't tell him about his mom and brother being dead.
Well, I mean, if they think he may be the killer.
Well, and he doesn't ask
why they're picking him up.
So that's also weird to them.
Yeah.
And they're thinking that this is even more likely that he's the murderer. So they bring him back to the station and they ask him about, where were you? What time? Give me your timeline, your alibi. Well, it's not adding up what he is saying. And I'm going off memory on this part. He said something about he had smoked some weed and went driving around, and it's sketch.
Yeah.
It's kind of sketch. So come to find out, he had gone home while the cops were all on scene.
Saw the cops and left.
Yes.
So he knew something was up if he didn't know what had happened. Exactly.
He knew something was up for sure. But maybe he didn't stop because he was high. I mean... I don't know. It's to the cops, it's building up that Eder's the one that did this. Like, they're not.
Well, and he's not doing himself any favors at this point.
He's just acting sus.
Yeah.
Completely. And so the police arrest him, which I thought was strange because they don't really have anything
No.
other than the gut at this point. Maybe that little bit of blood was enough to arrest him somehow. We never revisit the blood in his car, what it was from.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Because you would think you don't need beyond a reasonable doubt, but you need, a preponderance of evidence to get an arrest warrant.
I feel like at this point they could arrest him, but when they try to take this to trial, what do they really have?
Yeah, they don't even have circumstantial because any trace you find in the house of his, so any blood, hair, skin cells, saliva, he lives there. His fingerprints are going to be everywhere.
Right.
So you don't have anything that says he did this. It's not like there's a history of violence that you've told me about that would say this guy's a drug dealer and mom and brother gotten away.
Yep. Nope.
It's crazy.
So here's Eder sitting in jail, potentially facing a death penalty situation. And I told you he didn't know about his mom and brother when he was pulled over and brought in. But during the interrogation, it came out that his mom and brother were dead. So he's sitting in jail dealing with that. He's completely, I'm innocent. I didn't do it. He's like, I just want to die at this point is what he's saying.
I mean... when your whole family's been killed,
and then if
you're not the killer, and now you're in jail for it, I can definitely see.
So we're gonna set this Raquel and Carlos's murder aside, okay? And we're gonna talk about some other stuff going on in Yorba Linda. That happened in, what did I tell you?
Yorba Linda, the homeless Mecca.
But was it, yes. Was it 20? Okay, that was October 2011. So now we're going to move forward to December 2011.
Okay.
Not too far. 911 gets another call about a homicide. A lady was out walking her dog and she found a body at a strip mall.
And it wasn't a mannequin.
It was not a mannequin. It was James McGillivray. And he was a homeless guy.
Okay.
He had been stabbed in the upper body and head multiple times. And the police were shocked because it happened in such a public place, like a strip mall. There, anybody could have seen him. And the scene was super bloody. Well, the first thing that the police want to do is see if they can find some surveillance footage, which they do. They get some. The attack was actually caught on camera.
What?
Yes. And what you see is the homeless man, James, was sleeping on the ground.
And someone just came up and attacked him?
Out of nowhere, just came up. It was
Holy
quick.
Shit.
I mean, he didn't even have time to defend himself. It was so fast. So he had no chance. So they go through the tape some more. They back it up. About an hour and a half before the attack, there was a vehicle that had come into the video and interacted with James. Like somebody in the car was talking to him or maybe giving him some money. I don't know what.
Yeah.
But they're like, we need to find this
There was
vehicle,
some kind of interaction.
see if they know something, see if it's connected. Maybe it has something to do with the attack. Well, 1 week later, another murder. A man jogging discovered a body. Don't go jogging. That's all the bodies.
Yeah, hunters, jogging, people hiking in the woods.
It's always hunting.
They're always ones that find the bodies.
Yeah.
In Louisiana, it's the fishermen and duck hunters.
That's right.
We find them floating.
So this man's jogging. He discovers a body. It was like under a little overpass type area where a man had been sleeping, and he was homeless, and his name was Jimmy Medow. And police immediately try to connect the two homeless men being murdered.
Yeah.
They're thinking it's the same person. Well, Jimmy's family said he had mental health issues, and he had even been in trouble with the law, even been in jail, but he was trying to turn his life around. And he was living on the streets, but he was really trying hard to, make a better life for himself.
Yeah, get everything straight. I mean, most of the people, so we recently at the store dealt with a situation with a homeless person living essentially in front of our store. And my team got very attached and wanted to do something to help her. And one of the hard things with them being so young is to help them understand that a lot of times when people are homeless, it's by choice, or it's because of mental health, substance abuse, whatever, where they are not able to function in normal society. And it sounds like he's trying to do what he needs to do.
He was
to correct that.
And he had a mom, but she lived in like a retirement community, so he couldn't. There were rules. He couldn't go live with her. So, but he was attacked. So now we have two very similar attacks with stabbings and just very vicious. And even though there's only two at this point, the police are thinking they have a serial killer on their hands.
Yeah, the makings of one.
Yeah, yeah. But before this point in time, it had been 25 years since Orange County had a serial killer. 25 years.
That's it. I mean, I know there are more serial killers active in the United States at any given time than we actually know about. And I strongly suspect there's a lot of unsolved crimes out there that if they start, as DNA technology develops and stuff, they're linking more and more and more crimes together.
Yeah, yeah.
So there are serial killers we'll never catch.
You're right.
You don't catch the smart ones.
You're right. You're right. Well, people in the area were concerned about the homeless. They were giving them flashlights and whistles and urging them to go into shelters. They were trying to help them protect themselves.
Yeah.
But, okay, remember this started December.
Yeah.
We had two murders so far in December. December 30th, 2011. There is poor Eater sitting in jail waiting for his, whatever to happen for his parent or his mom and his brother dying. But another homeless person got murdered.
And they're not connecting any of this. Like right now, this is two totally separate,
two completely
crime
separate
spree incidents.
Yes, completely separate. The next man who was found, Paulus Smith, he had been stabbed multiple times near a parking garage. And it happened during the day. So this person's like getting more bold. And there's no witnesses. There's no leads on the homeless killings. Obviously, it can't be.
These are out in public.
Yeah. And
they've
obviously,
got him on camera.
It can't be Eater because he's in jail.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got to be the other kid.
So the police are talking to people in the community. They're trying to, they're trying to get any kind of leads, any kind of, have you seen anything? Have you heard anything? Meanwhile, Eater's been in jail for 8 weeks. He saw the news about the homeless men being killed, and he feels like that's the same person who killed his mom and his brother.
And the cops aren't listening because there's nothing substantive to tie it all together.
The only thing that you could say is that the crime scenes were close in proximity to each other.
But it doesn't sound like a big area, so it doesn't sound like that's hard to achieve.
There were multiple stab wounds in all the murders also. But still, you're talking about a man and his mom in a house versus homeless people. 3 so far.
It's a totally different victimology.
Well, and Eater, this whole time, like I told you earlier, he's saying, I'm innocent. I did not kill my mom and my brother. Okay. January 2012. So again, we're just a few days later, maybe 2 weeks after the last murder, another murder is going on. So there's this man, and I could not find his name, but we're going to call him the Good Samaritan. He stopped on his way home for groceries. Somebody ran into the grocery store while he was checking out saying there's a homeless man outside being stabbed. So this man, this Good Samaritan, he runs outside. He sees the killer stabbing the man over and over, like
in front of a grocery store.
During the day. Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. He was stabbing him in the face and the chest. And the man who was being stabbed, the homeless man, was John Barry. And he was actually a well-known homeless guy in the area, if you can be that. Yeah. Like you said, you're in front of your store. Y'all had a lady.
We know her name. We speak to her by name. She still lives in the area.
Yeah.
And what we ended up doing when they really wanted to help her when that first cold snap hit, they were really concerned about her safety. So everyone on the crew that wanted to donate money, we pulled in a couple dollars, sent one person to Goodwill to go buy a sleeping bag, a heavy jacket, some hoodies, and sweatpants. Good. And then we washed it all, bought her a duffel bag to put it all in, and gave it to her as a gift, along with a bunch of protein bars and things like that.
Oh, that's good.
So we weren't trying to change who she was, but trying to give her safer options.
That sounds like how John Barry was. He was polite. He didn't bother anybody. People knew him by name, and he was the one being attacked. So the Good Samaritan who ran out of the store that saw it happening, he's screaming, stop, stop. And he runs toward the attacker, who then sees him, and he gets up and he starts fleeing the scene. Well, this Good Samaritan, all he could do was chase after him. And he did. He chased after him into a mobile home park. There were kids outside playing, people going about their day, and he just stayed on him. As much as this guy would run and weave and bob, this Good Samaritan stayed on him.
He must have been in shape. Both of them were in shape.
I'm saying.
Because I'm sorry, I don't run.
No, I don't.
If you see me running, you need to run too.
That's right.
Because I'm running away or towards something really bad.
Someone is chasing me, so you need to run too.
And if I'm running in a zigzag, I'm running from an alligator, and you just need to be slower than me.
Well, this guy chased him enough, and the cops got there, and they apprehended the killer. So yay, Good Samaritan, whoever you are, well done. Okay, so Eater's in jail. He sees the news that a 4th homeless man had been killed, and the person they arrested was his old friend Itzcoatl Ocampo.
I'm telling you, I thought it was maybe him that did the murders at the house because they were letting him stay there.
Well, he got arrested for the homeless murders, and
I'm wondering why the cops didn't track him down before, because, you've got 4 residents of this house. 2 are dead. One's in jail.
Well, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to tell you why they didn't track him down. I'm going to tell you. Okay, so Eater couldn't believe his best friend was out there killing homeless people. And
I mean, who wants to think their best friend's out there killing people?
I mean, for real. But he did say that Izzy, when he came back from Iraq, he seemed kind of lost.
Yeah.
So, okay. Remember, just like you said, he lived with Eater and his family. Izzy did. Well, according to Eater, Izzy got asked to leave the house.
Oh.
And Izzy was heartbroken when he got asked to leave the house. And from that point, Eater said their friendship was over. In Izzy's mind, for sure. So when the police the police don't know this.
Did they say why he was asked to leave the house?
No. But if he was a lost soul, maybe he was just, it could have been anything. It could have been he wasn't
pulling his weight. The family seems like
Exactly.
go-getters.
Yes.
So if he's one that wants to sit on the couch and watch TV and just eat up the food, and
It could
might
have been
have
that.
just rubbed Mama the wrong way, and Mama said, "You know what? You ain't gonna do this in my house. Get out."
Yep. So when the police captured him and started questioning him about the homeless murders, he admitted he did it.
Just straight up.
He
I
did.
did it.
He said he did it with a K-bar.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. So they were like, why? He's like, the homeless people were making the county look bad. Yeah.
She was taking out the trash.
That's what he thought. And even though Izzy was deployed to Iraq, he never saw combat while he was there. And he told the police that he felt that real Marines are killers. So
I have a serious problem with that. Like, serious problem. Because I have to say, you know, my dad being a Marine, and I know Dawson was a Marine, and I have a bunch of friends and family that were in the Marines. And they get a bad name in the news and in society on a lot of things. And when people say stuff like that, it's offensive, because my dad was a big teddy bear. Dawson's one of the nicest guys. I've never ticked him off, so I'm not going to try that one. But my dad was just a big teddy bear.
well, Izzy felt like Marines are real. They're killers. That's what they're supposed to be doing. And he said he had a list of 16 people who he planned to kill. Some are people who treated him badly in high school. So thank goodness
He's just fucked up.
yeah.
That's what it is. He's
fucked up in
looking
the
for an
head.
excuse to make his fucked up beliefs a reality.
Yep. Well, he got charged with the 4 homeless murders. But at this point, cops aren't connecting Eater's mom and brother to
So
Izzy.
Eater's still in jail, and so is Izzy.
From jail, Eater called and told detectives, Izzy's the one that did this. And, you know, they needed to find some proof. So they searched Izzy's house, wherever he was living at this point.
Yeah.
They found bloody boots. And there was DNA from Raquel and Carlos on the boots. So, in a way, we're glad, because Eater,
I feel bad for Eater at this point. He's lost his mom, his brother, and his best friend.
Yep.
And his best friend's the one that took his mom and his brother.
Well, when the cops talked to Izzy and confront him, he admitted he did kill them.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. And he said he wanted to kill Eater too, but Eater wasn't home when he went there. But he had no remorse he never showed any remorse for the killings. November 2013, a trial never happened because Izzy committed suicide in jail. He had been saving up cleaning supplies, and he drank the cleaning supplies and killed himself.
It's a coward's way out. But at the same time, there is part of me that goes, okay, he saved the taxpayers a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah, I understand. That's Izzy, and I'll show the camera in a second.
Izzy.
I went to cbsnews.com, and there was a show called Devil Among Us, season 1, episode 4, that I watched.
Yeah, he just looks like a normal guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't look evil. He doesn't look
Like a normal
my little
kid.
short arms.
Let me see here if I can get him in the picture.
Yeah, he just looks like a normal guy.
Yeah.
I mean, if his dad lost his job, lost his home while he was in the Marines and all that stuff, there's a lot going on psychologically. And I think in this country, in a lot of ways, we've gotten a lot more open and a lot more accepting of mental health situations and issues.
I agree.
But I still think a lot of our soldiers are our soldiers, police, first responders, they're just not getting the help. And there's a stigma to it.
Yep.
If you do admit that you have
You're
a
weak.
problem,
You're weak.
then you're weak and you're not a man. And especially for men, I think the problems happen more for men in society than for women, because
I agree.
men all think we're nuts anyway. So if we seek mental help, they're just like, okay, well, yeah, I knew she was crazy to begin with. But
Here's a pill.
Yeah.
Cheer up, bitch.
but I really see, because my generation, 9/11 happened while I was in high school. I had a lot of friends.
That's one of the things that led Izzy to go into the service was 9/11.
Yeah, and I had a lot of friends, like, unbeknownst to me, when I was in high school praying around the flagpole with all my friends and praying for all these soldiers, we had on the front of our cafeteria, because, I went to boarding school and life was a lot different for me than your standard high school. But we had these big, huge windows that went up the whole, like, it was a 2-story building and the windows went all the way to the roof.
Yeah.
And they hung these big strips of paper. And we all gave the names of friends, family that were away at war, that were fighting for our freedom. And the names were on there. And it was this amazing visual seeing 30 feet of windows from floor to ceiling covered in paper, covered in names.
Yeah.
And we would pray for these people every day. But where did that support stop? Because it did.
Yeah.
As the war drug on, the support stopped. And in a lot of ways, because society was not as focused on the people. Yes, we were hurting and we were worried about the people dying, but there's a fate worse than death.
Right.
They come home and they have to reintegrate. And I know from personal experience, I mean, my husband fought.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say too much because that's his story. That's his problems that he personally has gone through. But we had things we had to work through.
Right.
There are times where we have had to address different situations. We don't do big crowds because he doesn't do well in them. There are certain things he still battles with, and he has sought mental help.
Yeah.
I just think that in a lot of ways, some of this could have been prevented if it became a standardized thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Psychological evaluations going in, psychological evaluations going
Coming
out.
Yeah.
And if those evaluations, not to say these people can't go back into society, but maybe we need to evaluate and say, okay, it's okay to not be okay.
Right.
It's all right to not have your head on straight after being at war. And here's help. Here's these, we're going to put the resources in front of you instead of you having to hunt for them and fight for them. Dee, that's been on the podcast with me. Physical limitations due to her military service.
Yeah.
She has to fight and scratch for every little bit of help that
she can get.
And she's dealing with physical problems that all stem from military service.
Well, hopefully, as we go on, we will become more aware and more.
Yeah, I mean, could you look at the Korean War and the support those guys got when they came back? We are heading, leaps and bounds ahead of where we were.
Right.
But we're not where we need to be.
No, I agree.
And I really think this crime and this crime spree may have been prevented with proper help.
Yeah. Okay. That was heavy.
That was.
But now I'm going to give you some crazy state laws that are still in the books.
Like don't eat red beans after midnight or something.
Stupid shit like that. But okay, so I'm going in alphabetical order by state, and we're on Mississippi.
Oh, Lord.
You cannot walk a dog without dressing it in diapers.
I mean, that defeats the purpose of walking the dog. I mean, I walk the dog so the dog doesn't shit in the house. I don't want to put a diaper on that I have to clean the shit off the dog.
Yep. It's illegal to drive around the town square more than 100 times in a single session.
That's someone that got lost in a roundabout.
99's okay, but 100, no. In Tylertown, Mississippi, it's unlawful to shave in the center of Main Street. You better take it to the sidewalk, buddy.
I have family that lives just outside Tylertown. I need to send my father-in-law to go shave in the middle of Main Street and see if he gets arrested.
Well, believe it or not, Mississippi only had 3. So I'm going to also give you Missouri. Okay. Because Louisiana had quite a few when I did Louisiana. So, okay. Missouri. Hard objects may not be thrown by hand. I don't know what.
But I can put them in a t-shirt launcher?
I guess so. Yeah. 4 women may not rent an apartment together. Don't know.
I don't know.
And in Purdy, Missouri, dancing is strictly prohibited.
So you're Purdy, but you can't dance.
That's right. You're Purdy, but no dancing.
Purdy. No dancing, Purdy.
No. That's it.
That's it.
So I hope you enjoyed that.
I did. And hopefully next time I come, I'll have a story since I'm finally recovering from my computer crash.
Well, maybe we
a
can get you back in
catastrophic.
January.
Absolutely. Life is getting a little more manageable. For one thing, now we're also now shooting our competition matches on Thursdays. So
Okay.
I'm not trying to juggle getting Kale to roller derby, me to competitions, which we won't even talk about the last season because I didn't even rank. Like, it was a good thing I hit the target. I can bounce a freaking golf ball at 30 yards, but you put a timer on and I forget where the trigger is.
Well, excuse me. In January, on January the 13th, we're having a meet and greet.
Okay. Yeah, you sent me the information for
Yep.
that. I did put it in my calendar. I got in trouble with my bosses.
Why? Because
They made a special trip to the store to fuss at me for not taking off. They were grumbling because since the end of June, I have only taken 2 Saturdays off. So I got fussed at and told that I am required to take more days off. I love having bosses that come all the way to the store to give me a hug. And
then fuss
they
at
have
you.
been, due to family situations, they had to recently move out of state back to where they had originally moved from. So they haven't been here as much as they normally would be. And I could tell it's bugging them because
Yeah.
they like to be involved in the day-to-day with us. But they came down. They told us we were going to a meeting on Thursday and kidnapped us, took us out to a nice lunch and out for a massage.
Oh, good.
All the GMs. And then they came on Friday because they had said they wanted to speak to me about something. So I'm an overthinker. So I stressed all night Thursday
Right.
night
What did
and
I
into
do?
Friday.
What
What
did I
I do wrong? Nope. They wanted to fuss at me because I wasn't taking enough days off.
Well, hopefully
And give me a
you'll
hug.
Hopefully you're taking off the 13th, and we'll see you at the meet.
I already
and
have
greet.
it in my calendar
Perfect.
to take off, but I will be taking every third Saturday off from here on out so I don't get in trouble with my bosses
Good.
anymore.
So when this comes out, we'll be pretty close to that. Maybe about 2 weeks out from the meet and
Oh,
greet.
cool. You guys got to come out and see us.
Yeah, we're going to be at Sugarfield Spirits in Gonzales, and go to the Grits group page, the family, friends, and fans, because when it gets closer to time, I'll post more information about the times and stuff like that. So, and thank you so much for supporting the show, Patreon members. And if you'd like to be a Patreon member, go to Patreon/grits. That's Patreon/grits. And you can help support the show.
Absolutely. Hey, Tammy finally got a couch I can sit on. My feet actually hit the floor. Like, I don't know. Y'all couldn't see us before because we weren't on camera. Anytime I came podcast, Tammy had to bring one of the plastic chairs from outside in because I couldn't sit on the couch because I got lost in it. So now I can actually sit on the couch
We have
again.
a Tasha-sized
It
couch.
is. It's tiny and it works. I mean, I'm 4'11" and I'm not getting any taller. I just accept that my kids love tease me. I'm 1 inch too tall to be a midget. And then I drive a giant truck and they laugh at me because, Mom, did you have to get the biggest truck possible? I'm like, yes.
That's right.
Yes, I did.
Well, thank you so much for coming and doing
Thank
this
you
with
for
me.
having me.
And we need to get back on a regular schedule.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, we need to start scheduling again. That's our problem. We stopped scheduling in advance.
You're right. You're right. Because I want to hear one of your stories next time.
I will bring a story next time. I've got 4 or 5 that I'm working on. I have been doing a little bit of writing over time with Crime Curious, helping
That's awesome.
Megan with a couple of things because she's been covering some New Orleans cases that I've already covered for Grits.
Okay, cool.
She did Vampires in New Orleans.
Awesome.
That was it was my birthday and she called and she's like, can we talk vampires? I was like, yes, please. Because both my kids are being buttheads and it's my birthday. And I sat on the back steps and drank more wine than I want to describe. And we talked vampires, but she covered that one. So
well, y'all go check out Crime Curious. Definitely.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And we need to do a joint meet and greet next time they come in town.
Oh, that would be fun.
That would be hilarious.
That'd be awesome.
I need to get Tammy together with Megan and Charnel. I think you'd you'd vibe with Judge Megan.
All right. That sounds fun. I would love to do that.
Yeah, but I'm doing some writing. I've got some started on my computer.
Cool.
Right now, I'm literally snowed under with Christmas gifts for my team. I've got another 7 tumblers to design and print. And my poor printer decided red is just not its color and it does not want to print those.
Well, I'm glad you made time to come do this with me. I appreciate that.
Well, we will definitely schedule it.
All right. Good deal.
I'll be back.
Okay, y'all. Tell your mom and them to listen. And we love y'all. And we're going to let Zydeco Mike take us out.
Love y'all.